29th of May, the people of South Africa voted in a watershed election. In casting their votes, our people made it clear that they expect political parties to work together to deliver on a mandate of transformation, growth, and renewal. And to give effect to this mandate, it was agreed that a government of national unity, which brings together parties from across the political spectrum, should be formed. This government of national unity would be bound by certain fundamental principles and would undertake a basic minimum of program of priorities that affect the lives of the people of South Africa. Following discussions over the course of the last few weeks, a total of 11 parties have elected to work together in government as well as in parliament. These are the African National Congress, the Democratic Alliance, the Patriotic Alliance, the Inkatha Freedom Party, Good Party, Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, Freedom Front Plus, United Democratic Movement, Al-Jamaa, Rise Mzansi, and the United African Transformation. The partnership between the GNU parties is guided by a statement of intent which outlines fundamental principles and a minimum program of priorities. All the parties have made a commitment in writing to respect the Constitution and to promote accountable and transparent governance, evidence-based policies, and decision-making, the professionalization of our public service based on integrity and good governance. The incoming government will prioritize rapid, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth and the creation of a more just society by tackling poverty and inequality, as well as unemployment. The establishment of the Government of National Unity in its current form is unprecedented in the history of our democracy. We have had to consider how to form a new government in a manner that advances the national interest, that also gives due consideration to the outcome of the election and that makes use of the respective capabilities within each of the parties represented. We have had to consider not only the immediate needs of the country, but the needs of all our people. We have also had to consider the stability, effectiveness, and the durability of the government that we are establishing. It is true that some South Africans have expressed concern about the length of time it has taken to form a government since the elections. As the discussions have unfolded, they have been worried about the effect of a protracted process on confidence and the stability of the country. At the same time, many people have pointed to the experiences of other countries that have far longer history in democracy, where the formation of multi-party governments have sometimes taken several months. In one case, formation of a government took more than a year. As a relatively young democracy, we should be proud that we have moved to establish a government comprised of a number of parties within such a short space of time. Through our discussions, we have been able to build consensus on the tasks of government. We have shown that there are no problems that are too difficult or too intractable that they cannot be solved through dialogue and negotiations. This evening, I am pleased to announce the members of the National Executive of our country who will bear collective responsibility to give effect to the will of the people of South Africa. In forming the national executive of our country, we have had to consider several factors and advance a number of key principles. We've had to ensure that the incoming government will be effective and that it will have people with the experience, the skills and capabilities to deliver on its mandate. It is important that we deploy into positions of responsibility people who are committed, capable, and hardworking, and who also have integrity. We've had to ensure that all the parties are able to participate meaningfully in the national executive, as well as in various parliamentary positions, and that they should represent the diversity of the people of South Africa properly. We have sought to ensure that the national executive is representative of the people of South Africa, giving due consideration to gender, to youth, demographics, as well as the regional distribution in our country. We want South Africans to see themselves reflected not only in the composition of government, but also in the policies and the programs of our government. Given the challenges that our country faces today, and considering the electoral mandate this government must implement, and I mean that we must work hard to ensure that we achieve all the goals that we have set out. And with due regard to this, I've decided to make a number of changes in the government's portfolios. In the course of the 6th administration, I indicated my intention to reduce the number of portfolios in the national executive. However, due to the need to ensure that the national executive is inclusive of all the parties that are part of the government of national unity, this has not been possible. In some instances, we've had to consider it necessary to separate certain portfolios to ensure that there is sufficient focus on key issues. The ministries of electricity and energy will now be merged. There will be a separate Ministry of Minerals and Petroleum Resources. The Ministry of Agriculture will be separated from the Ministry of Land, Reform and Rural Development. Ministry of Higher Education will be separated from the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. The Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Development will be separated from the Ministry of Correctional Services. There will no longer be a Ministry of Public Enterprises. The coordination of the relevant public enterprises will be located in the presidency during the process of implementing a new shareholder model. However, various key institutions will be reporting to the various ministries for policy matters. The following appointments to the executive will therefore be made. The Deputy President is Paul Mashatile. The Minister of Agriculture is John Steenhuisen. The Deputy Minister of Agriculture is Rosemary Nokuzola Kapa. Minister of Land Reform and Rural Development is Mzwanele Nyoncho. Deputy Minister of Land Reform and Rural Development is Chupu Stanley Matabata. Minister of Basic Education is Siviwe Kwahube. Deputy Minister of Basic Education is Regina Mahaule. Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies is Soli Malati. The Deputy Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies is Montli Gungubele. The Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs is Velinkosi Tlabisa. The Deputy Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs is Dixon Masemola and Nkosi Zolile Burns Ngamashe. The Minister of Defense and Military Veterans is Angie Motsecha. Deputy Minister of Defense and Military Veterans is Bantu Holomisa and Richard Mkongo. Minister of Electricity and Energy is Hosien Ramaphosa. Deputy Minister of Electricity and Energy is Samantha Graham. Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation is Blade Nzimande. The Deputy Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation is Nomalungelo Gina. Minister of Employment and Labor is Nomakosazana Meth. Deputy Minister of Employment and Labor is Jomo Sibiya and Pumzile Mgcina. Minister of Finance is Enoch Godongwana. Deputy Ministers of Finance are David Masondo and Ashor Sarupen. Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment is Dion George. Deputy Ministers of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment are Naren Singh and Bernice Swart. Minister of Health is Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi. Deputy Minister of Health is Dr. Joe Patla. Minister of Higher Education is Dr. Nobuhle Nkabani. The Deputy Ministers of Higher Education are Buti Manamela and Dr. Mimi Gondwe. Minister of Home Affairs is Leon Schreiber. Deputy Minister of Home Affairs is Njabulo Nzuza. Minister of Human Settlements is Mamoloko Kubai. Deputy Minister of Human Settlements is Thandi Mahambehlala. The Minister of International Relations and Cooperation is Ronald Lamola. Deputy Ministers of International Relations and Cooperation are Alvin Buotes and Thandi Moraka. Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development is Thembing Kadimeng. The Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development is Andries Nel. The Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources is Gwede Mantashe. Deputy Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources is Judith Nemadzinga Chabalala. Minister of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation is Marupini Ramaphosa. Deputy Minister of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation is Seiso Mohai. Minister of Police is Senzo Mchunu. Deputy Ministers of Police are Poli Bushielo and Kassel Matale. Minister in the Presidency is Kumbuzo Nchaveni. Deputy Ministers in the Presidency are Nongeba Mhlauli and Kenneth Morolo. Minister of Public Service and Administration is Nkosi Mzamo Buthelezi. Deputy Minister of Public Service and Administration is Pinky Kekana. Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure is Dion McPherson. Deputy Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure is Sihle Zigalala. Minister of Small Business Development is Delanda Beni. The Deputy Minister of Small Business Development is Jane Sitole. The Minister of Social Development is Sisisi Tolashe. Deputy Minister of Social Development is Hanif Hendricks. The Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture is Gayton McKenzie. Deputy Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture is Peace Mabe. Minister of Tourism is Patricia DeLille. Deputy Minister of Tourism is Maggie Sochu. Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition is Pax Dao. The Deputy Ministers of Trade, Industry and Competition are Zuko Godlimpi and Andrew Whitfield. Minister of Transport is Barbara Creasy. Deputy Minister of Transport is Mkhuleko Hlengwa. Minister of Water and Sanitation is Phemima Jodina. Deputy Ministers of Water and Sanitation is David Mahlobo and Isaac Siahlolo. Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities is Sindisiwe Chikunga. Deputy Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities is Mapaseka Steve Litsike. Minister of Correctional Services is Peter Groenewald, Dr. Peter Groenewald. Deputy Minister of Correctional Services is Lindiwe Nchalinchali. These men and women that we have appointed to the executive are drawn from all corners of our country. They reflect the diversity of our nation. They have a responsibility to work together to serve the people of South Africa as a whole. None of the members of the National Executive has been appointed to serve the interests of a particular constituency, a particular party, or a particular section of society. Collectively and individually, they are responsible to the people of South Africa. In the spirit of partnership and collaboration, the incoming government will work together with other formations to convene what we have spoken about a few days ago, which is a national dialogue. Through this national dialogue, all parties, civil society groups, labor, business, and other stakeholders will be invited to work together to address the critical challenges facing our nation. We call on all South Africans to participate in the national dialogue and to give their support to this government of national unity as it begins its work. As the leaders of political parties, as ministers and deputy ministers, as public representatives, we understand and accept the responsibility that we bear. We have all been called upon to serve the people of this country, and we will do so to the utmost of our ability. I thank you.